Long ago, in the land of Israel, there was a time of fear and suffering. The people had turned away from God and forgotten His commands. Because of this, enemies rose against them, and the Israelites lived under oppression for many years. At that time, a cruel king named Jabin ruled in Canaan. His mighty army commander was Sisera, a fierce warrior feared throughout the land. Sisera commanded 900 iron chariots, powerful weapons that terrified Israel's soldiers. For 20 long years, the Israelites suffered under Sisera's harsh rule. Villages were abandoned, roads became dangerous, and many people lived in fear. But God had not forgotten His people. In those days, a wise and faithful woman named Deborah served as a prophetess and judge over Israel. Deborah was unlike any leader Israel had known before. She sat beneath a palm tree in the hill country of Ephraim, where people came from near and far to seek her wisdom and judgment. She listened carefully to disputes, gave wise counsel, and most importantly, spoke God's message to the people. Deborah loved God and trusted Him completely. One day, as she prayed and listened to the Lord, God gave her an important message. She called for a man named Barak, the son of Abinoam, from the city of Kadesh in Naphtali. When Barak arrived, Deborah spoke boldly. "The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you," she said. "Take 10,000 men from the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun and lead them to Mount Tabor. God will bring Sisera, with all his chariots and army, to the Kishon River, and he will give you victory." Barak listened carefully, but fear filled his heart. Sisera's army was powerful, and Israel's people had lived in terror for years. Though Barak believed Deborah's words, he was afraid to go alone. "If you go with me, I will go," Barak said. "But if you do not go with me, I will not go." Deborah looked at him calmly. She understood his fear, but she also trusted God's plan. "I will surely go with you," she replied. "But because of the way you are going about this, the honor of defeating Sisera will not belong to you. Instead, the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman." Barak may not have fully understood her words, but he accepted them. Soon, Barak gathered 10,000 warriors from the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun. Deborah went with him, encouraging the people to trust in God rather than fear the enemy. Meanwhile, Sisera heard about Israel's growing army. Confident in his strength, he gathered all 900 iron chariots and thousands of soldiers, and marched toward the Kishon River. The day of battle arrived. Dark clouds gathered over the land, and thunder rumbled in the distance. Deborah stood beside Barak and said firmly, "Go! This is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone ahead of you?" Strengthened by Deborah's courage, Barak led his men down Mount Tabor into battle. As they charged, something unexpected happened. A mighty storm swept across the battlefield. Rain poured heavily, turning the ground into thick mud. Sisera's iron chariots, once feared and unstoppable, became trapped in the muddy earth. The powerful weapons that had frightened Israel for years suddenly became useless. Confusion spread through Sisera's army. The Israelites fought bravely, and God gave them victory. Sisera's soldiers fled in fear, and Barak's army defeated them completely. But Sisera himself escaped. Jumping down from his chariot, Sisera ran on foot, desperate to save his life. Exhausted and terrified, he traveled far until he came to the tent of a woman named Jael. Jael was the wife of Heber the Kenite. Her family lived peacefully in the region, and Sisera believed he would be safe there. Jael stepped out of her tent and greeted him kindly. "Come in, my lord," she said gently. "Do not be afraid." Relieved, Sisera entered the tent. He was exhausted after fleeing the battle. "Please give me some water," he said. "I am thirsty." Instead of water, Jael gave him milk and covered him with a blanket, making him feel safe and comfortable. "Stand at the entrance of the tent," Sisera told her. "If anyone asks whether someone is here, say no." Trusting he had escaped danger, Sisera soon fell into a deep sleep. But Jael knew something important this cruel commander had caused suffering to countless innocent people for many years. Quietly and carefully, she picked up a tent peg and a hammer. As Sisera slept soundly, exhausted from battle, Jael approached him silently. With courage and determination, she struck the tent peg through his temple, ending his life instantly. The mighty commander who had terrorized Israel for 20 years was defeated not by a warrior king, but by a brave woman. Soon after, Barak arrived, chasing Sisera. Jael came out to meet him. "Come," she said. "I will show you the man you are looking for." Barak entered the tent and saw Sisera lying dead. At that moment, Deborah's prophecy was fulfilled. God had delivered Sisera into the hands of a woman. From that day forward, King Jabin's power grew weaker and weaker until Israel finally destroyed his kingdom completely. After the great victory, Deborah and Barak sang a joyful song praising God. They thanked him for rescuing Israel and celebrated the courage of those who trusted him. Deborah praised Jael as a blessed and courageous woman who had helped bring peace to the land. For 40 years after that victory, Israel lived in peace. The story of Deborah, Barak, and Jael teaches many important lessons. Deborah showed that courage and wisdom can come from anyone who trusts God. Barak reminds us that even brave people can struggle with fear, but can still succeed when they step forward in faith. Jael teaches that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when the moment calls for courage. Most importantly, the story reminds us that no enemy is too strong when people place their trust in God. Even when things seem impossible, God can use unexpected people and surprising ways to bring victory. And so, the names of Deborah, Barak, and Jael were remembered throughout Israel for generations as heroes of faith, courage, and trust in God.